Hey everyone, it's Matt C. Doing a bit of a drive time update and a bit of a I guess I've been thinking thinking a little philosophically this morning, kind of wistfully looking off into the sunrise and thinking about where I am and where a lot of other creator friends are right now. So first off, sidebar, I know a lot of people in the north have issues where they have to they got to take one of those little pieces of plastic and kind of chip away at ice that's on their glass. I've heard of this. I've had to deal with it just a tiny bit in South Carolina and Georgia, just a tiny bit. But you know, for the few of you who live in 100% humidity climates like I do, there's something equivalent to that. It's a little known issue, and that's if it rained the night before and it's going to be like, you know, basically 110% humidity. This is going to be water just dripping out of the sky just because it's so humid. And every window is so freaking fogged up because maybe you had the AC running or something when you drove in last night, and it basically means your car is undrivable until you get out, turn on the defroster, get out, and then get like a towel or something, or just your hand, I guess, if you're you know, don't have a lot of time, and you have to wipe down every single glass surface of your car, including all exterior, you know, both rear view side mirrors and every single window, or you can't see out of anything. It's really annoying. It takes a minute and a half, and you never plan for it, and sometimes that minute and a half means that you're, you know, 5 minutes late. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I know, right? Tiny violin playing right now, but it's annoying. Yeah, so philosophical talk. So my buddy Matt Reese, he just him and his gang with Ideal Comics just successfully funded last night, and they had a low goal, but they were able to meet it, or they were close enough to what they really needed. That between, you know, a few of them, they're only paying like a few dollars or something to cover the cost, and they had a flexible goal, which was smart, which is something I should have done. So yeah, I was just thinking about what happens when you succeed in that sense, when you actually get something funded. And I was telling him, like, you know, now the real work begins. It's nice, you can sleep well knowing that when you wake up the next morning, that's when things really get started, because now the ball is rolling, and it's going to be rolling for as long as you want it to. I mean, in a real sense, it's going to be rolling for as long as you're in comics now, because now you're making your first comic. You're putting it in people's hands. There is a real, tangible, measurable difference between how people react to someone who has a webcomic and how people react to someone who has a book, including yourself. You react to yourself differently when you have, you know, a bunch of boxes in storage or in your closet or something, and you can really pull one out and then take a book out from that box and hand it to someone. It's a real, I'm assuming it's a real different feeling than just telling someone, hey, go check out a website on your lunch break, and, you know, chances are they never do, which is fine, but it's a different thing. And so this kind of relates to where I am right now with the print process for KYRIE. I've been going for 5 years now, 5-ish years, and this is the first time the comic's been in someone else's hands entirely, and I'm completely relying on them. And then that's what I was thinking when I first woke up, because I was kind of frustrated that someone hadn't emailed me back like within an hour. And I'm then I realized that's kind of what I've been doing for the past 2 months, getting things ready and then launching the Indiegogo is kind of doing that too. That was really my first step into, I mean, not relying on people, but submitting myself to external evaluation, I guess, completely. I'm not just asking, hey, what do you think about this comic? And they're like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But actually putting it out there, placing it down in the open market and seeing, does anyone think this is worth their dollars, their hard-earned precious dollars? That's a huge deal. This isn't like bookmarking a webcomic. This is real money. This is money. And success in getting something funded with that is very hard won. So for those of you who don't know, I kickstarted the first chapter, and I raised about $1,300 in 2014, I think it was, and that was just it was a PDF. It's like 26 pages or something, and it was just I was raising money. It was kind of weird. I was raising money to be able to afford to quit my job early, a couple weeks early, so I could work on it full time, day and night, more than full time, to produce that thing, because I didn't really have time, because I was putting things together in the evenings to move, so I could go back to school, so I could get out of careers like the one I was in. And it worked. And so people bought my PDF. It was cheap. That was back when I didn't really know what I was doing. So it was, I think I was selling it for $1 or something. I don't know. There was different tiers. You know, I had like a making of PDF and other things that people were buying, but it was all digital perks, because I couldn't fulfill physical stuff. But I knew I could fulfill some amazing, great digital stuff if I had 2 weeks off, and I wouldn't be able to work on it at grad school. So this was the only time that I could actually produce something, so it could be out in the world digitally, only during this time slot. But I needed people to buy in on it so that I could quit my job to make that happen, and I was able to. And then people really liked it, and I really liked it, and I just thought, and you know, school is hard, and sometimes you need your mind taken off of things. So I actually kind of went back, started chipping away at book 2, and actually got all of book 2, chapter 2, and I got all of book 1 done in the 2 years of being back in school. It's like 120 pages or so between chapter 1 and 2, which comprises book 1. And and then about 6 months after, so like 2017, summer 2017, I was still with Comiker, who was digitally publishing. They're a cool publisher. You should check them out. They're digital first, and they'd already done a Kickstarter in 2015 for some of their books, and they got that successfully funded. And they've been doing a format where they put everything, they put all the books, the whole lineup for the season, I guess, into one Kickstarter, and they try to raise enough money to print each. It's a difficult situation. They got funded in 2015. I thought, like, I signed up with them, and I wanted to get things done through them in 2017, and we did like a season 2 sort of run, and it didn't succeed. It didn't raise enough money. It raised, I don't know, it was like a couple grand short of the 20 something grand that we needed to print all the books. I think there were 4 books, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's tough going, you know. I mean, that's a high goal, and putting things together into, you know, putting 4 books on one Kickstarter and having it all succeed or fail, you know, based on that, and not having a flexible goal. There's all these reasons to not do it on Kickstarter and to not do it that way. And I think they learned their lesson, and I learned mine. And yeah, and we didn't fund, so the book wasn't made. So I just kept working on book 2, got that completed, working on book 3 now, and just kind of yeah, honestly, I guess like licking my wounds. Like, it wasn't, you know, you can't take these things personally. A couple of those guys did end up getting their books published by another means, another sort of I think it was like an angel backer sort of situation, independent of the campaign, which was awesome. And that wasn't me. So I had to learn how to kind of build an independent platform, build independent kind of base of people, and people who are interested in the thing, and just kind of develop my own sort of deal, so that in 2019, early 2019, I could break with my digital publisher, who also had the rights to the printing, but wasn't interested in printing it. I had to just kind of break with them and say, in order to get this printed, we left on good terms, but in order to get this thing printed, I got to go my own way. So that's what I did, and this time we got through, which was fantastic. So yeah, that's kind of the life story of KYRIE so far. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's interesting, but all that time, you know, I still, until the Kickstarter, I mean the until the Indiegogo, I didn't have, it wasn't up to other people to decide my fate. Until like Kickstarter, you know, if it doesn't happen, then you just go back to you deciding your own fate. You're just kind of drawing, making your own thing, voluntarily putting it up on websites, you know, Amazon, Comixology, that kind of thing. But the moment you put it in other people's hands, and then they fund it for you, then it really is in their hands. Eventually, it's going to be physically in their hands, but until then, it's just you know, it's up to the printer when they're going to email you back or that sort of thing. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and I really like it's just, I have to get used to it not all being up to me. It's up to other people, and I like it. I mean, I better get used to it, because it's going to be weeks before, many weeks before I actually get the books back from the printer. So I better get used to that, and I better spend this time continuing to get the word out, but also working on book 3 art. That's kind of how I can keep myself busy. But anyways, it's just kind of funny, just kind of, there's a word for this, it's not bittersweet or anything, but it's just kind of a funny paradoxical situation where you work so hard with the stuff that you have, with the talent and time that you have, being in control, so that one day you cannot be in control, and that's when you succeed, which is really kind of fun. It's really kind of interesting, because it's finally going into other people's hands, and whether they like it or not, they're going to be honest, because it's money, you know, money's on the line. And oh yeah, and one last thing, speaking of, you know, a comic that's been 5 years in the making, I went back and I redrew a lot of, I kind of plussed it, polished up a lot of chapter 1 and a decent amount of chapter 2, but especially chapter 1. For those of you who haven't, who have read chapter 1, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of nice stuff. I think it looked good before. You know, there's some evolution that goes on in things, but I just kind of plussed it up a bit, and I think it looks really nice. The chapter 1 looks as good as chapter 2, looks as good as chapter 3 and chapter 4 that I'm on right now. it looks nice. I left things a tiny bit more cartoony in the more exaggerated, the action scenes in chapter 2. I just think that kind of works within the boundaries that I'm giving myself, but yeah, it looks nice. So can't wait to see it printed. I think you guys are going to love seeing it printed. You're going to love having it on your bookshelves, and yeah, we're going to have a good time. I'm finally it's finally out of my hands, and it's finally up to other people. and it's something I've been dreaming about for years, and it's thanks to you guys, because of your decision to make the comic happen. It's happening. So thanks a lot. And yeah, I might post something up later today. But thanks for checking this out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.